Andariki Namaste. I am K. Anil Reddy, JL in Political Science, Government Junior College, Kachiguda. Today, as part of the second year Political Science, we are going to deal with the seventh chapter, that is Electoral System in India. Okay, today we are going to study about election system and its process, okay, that we are following in the country. So, as part of this chapter, we are going to study about firstly, Central Election Commission. Secondly, powers and functions of Election Commission. Thirdly, electoral reforms in India. Fourthly, political parties. One is national parties, second is regional parties, and fifthly, anti-defection law. So these are all the topics that we are going to cover in this chapter. Okay. To begin with, as you all know, India is a democratic country. In democracy, as you all know, India is a democratic country. In democratic systems, generally, people elect the representatives. Okay. So, if we want to elect the representatives, we need, proper election system. So, to conduct elections in free, fair and impartial manner, we need to have proper election system in the country. So, as India is a democratic country, here in India, 80 to 90 crores of people have enrolled, to participate in the elections. So, India is one of the largest democratic countries, as we all know. So, in this democratic country, if we have to conduct the elections, we need proper and established strong election commission. So, our constitution has guaranteed an independent election commission to conduct the elections. Here, we need to understand one thing. What are elections? Elections are those which help us in electing our representatives for various legislatures. Okay, right? It might be parliament, or it might be state legislature, or it might be local bodies, whatever it is. Okay, it gives an opportunity for the individual to participate and elect the representative. That is election. So, this facility will be provided to the citizen by the election commission itself. So, that's why clearly we have laid down certain provisions in the constitution itself. Regarding the election and electoral process, clearly our constitution right from, articles 324, 322, 329 are telling us about this election commission. Of course, India, as you all know, is multi-religious, multicultural, multi-regional society. Okay. So, therefore, we have lots and lots of challenges that we have to face. As India is a multicultural, multi-linguist, multi-religion and multi-region society, there are many challenges that election system, has to face. So, what are those challenges? We need to understand. So, nowadays, there is excessive money that have come into the election system. Political parties are spending lot of money to buy the voters during the election time. Second major problem that we are facing today is the criminal history of various political leaders. So, this is also one of the major challenge that we have. Thirdly, we can say violence that is being created by various political parties during the election period. Okay. And fourthly, use of liquor is also one of the major problem and the challenge that election system is facing today. So, like this, there are many problems that election system is coming across. So, that's why we are trying to bring reforms in the electoral system. Okay, to make this, to avoid these kind of challenges, to encounter these challenges, we need proper electoral reforms. Okay, so then only we can contain such kind of practices, illegal practices which are existing during the time of election. About the constitutional and legal provisions, okay, which are there in our election system. So as we have mentioned, the elections are the subject matter of the constitution. They have included in the constitution. The makers of our constitution have placed the election system or electoral process in the constitution itself. Why? Because to safeguard the political rights of the citizens. Okay, political rights of the citizens can be safeguarded by placing the election system and its provisions in the constitution directly itself. Okay, so that's why part 15 of our constitution, from articles 324 to 329, are dealing about the election system in India. So articles, remember, 324 to 329 are very, very important. So now, what article 324 say? Article 324 is talking about the composition of the election commission. Okay, so till 1989 we had single election commissioner. After 1989 there is one, okay, chief election commissioner along with two other commissioners. So this was a change that happened, okay, in the 1989. Okay, and all the commissioner along with other two members will be appointed by the President of India itself. Okay, then article 325. Article 325 is talking about the preparation of electoral rolls. How we have to prepare the electoral rolls. Okay, who should be given the voting right and what are the various qualifications and methods that are required. So all these will be dealt in the article 325. Coming to article 326. Article 326 guarantees right to vote to all the adult citizens in the country. That means the citizens who attain the age of 18 years will get the voting right in India. So this voting right will be given to the citizen whoever attains 18 years by January 1st every year. Okay, and one more thing you have to remember here, when our constitution came into existence, the right to vote was given to the citizens who attained the age of 21 years. But in the year 1988, according to the 61st Amendment Act, 61 Amendment Act, it was reduced to 18 years. So it is guaranteeing universal adult franchise or right to vote to the citizens whoever attains the age of 18 years. Coming to article 27 and 28. Article 27 and 28 are empowering the parliament and the state legislature to create or formulate the electoral laws. That means the laws related to the elections can be formulated by the parliament as well as the state legislature. Okay, so this is according to the article 327 and 328. So that's why the Union Parliament have prepared or formulated, okay, two acts related to the Election Commission. People's Representation Act 1950, People's Representation Act 1951. So these are the two major acts that were formulated by the, okay, Parliament of India. Coming to article 329, okay, it lays down certain limitations to the courts not to interfere in the matters of Election Commission. So Election Commission, as you all know, it is an independent body. So it also lays down clearly certain limitations on the courts. Courts cannot interfere in the each and every matter which is related to the Election Commission. So this provision is provided by the Constitution. Okay. So now we understood that there are certain constitutional provisions for, okay, Election Commission. So these constitutional provisions has laid down certain basic principles that Election Commission has to follow, and these tells us the basic principles that each and every citizen has to stick. Firstly, to talk about Parliament or Assembly elections will take place only on the territorial constituency basis. Okay, how they will take place? Parliament and assembly elections will take place only on the basis of territorial constituencies. That means certain area will be divided into constituency. Then the elections will be conducted to that particular area. Either it might be Lok Sabha or to the legislature, various state legislative assemblies. So this geographical area is very, very important to define a constituency. A particular area will be called as a constituency. Suppose, for example, Hyderabad constituency, Secunderabad constituency, Malkajgiri constituency. Like this, there are many constituencies that are existing. Secondly, the election commission also provides reservations for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. SCs and STs will be provided separate reservations in the electoral process. Thirdly, to mention, the Constitution of India guarantees independent, impartial, free and fair elections to all the Indians. That means the Election Commission of India is independent. Its duty is to conduct the elections in free, fair and impartial manner. Then, fourthly, census are the basis for the division of the electoral constituencies. So, how the constituencies will be divided? It is divided on the basis of census. Census means the population counting which takes place for every 10 years. Basing on that, the electoral constituencies will be divided. Fifthly, to mention, it's a delimitation commission which will be established and it will decide upon either to increase or to decrease the existing or new electoral constituencies. Who will decide the constituencies? It is a delimitation commission. So this delimitation commission provisions were added in the constitution in the 2001. And in 2008 they have submitted a report. According to 2008, now we are following the constituencies which are existing now. This report was given in the 2008. So this always depend upon the population policy which we take up, as decided by the parliament. So according to 2001 census, the delimitation commission have decided the constituencies in the 2008. Again, it will be reviewed sometime after the 2026. Then sixthly, we need to mention that both parliament as well as the state legislature have given the power to make the laws on elections. But one thing we have to remember, the state legislature cannot override the central laws. So whatever the laws the parliament creates or formulates, they have to be, they will come into effect. Even the state governments can also prepare the electoral laws, but they have to abide by the central law. They can't override the central law. Then seventhly, High Court will be considered as the appellate, original jurisdiction. So whatever the poll challenges that are there, they have to be challenged. They have to be presented only in the High Courts. And Supreme Court acts as the appellate jurisdiction as far as elections are concerned. When we come to the president and vice president elections, they have to be challenged only in the Supreme Court of India. So High Court acts as the original jurisdiction, Supreme Court acts as the appellate jurisdiction as far as elections are concerned. But vice president and president elections can be only challenged in the Supreme Court itself. Then last one is universal adult franchise. The election provisions, constitutional provisions clearly are sticking to the universal adult franchise. It is guaranteeing right to vote to the adult citizens whoever attains the age of 18 years. Now let's talk about the Central Election Commission. The duty of the Central Election Commission to supervise, to control, the elections in India. So for that, Article 324 is telling telling about the composition of the election commission. So Central Election Commission will consist of a commissioner, okay, Chief Election Commissioner, and 2 other members who will be nominated or appointed by the President of India. So the President of India appoints the Election Commission, okay, Central Election Commission, which consists of a commissioner, chief commissioner, and as well as 2 other members. So the Chief Election Commissioner acts as the chairman of the Election Commission. Okay. So this you have to remember. In 89, as we told, there was only 1 person. After 1989, there added 2 other members. So the term will be fixed for a period of 6 years, and he can be removed, or the members of the Election Commission can be removed by the method of impeachment. The Parliament have to pass the resolution, and it needs to be approved by the 2/3 majority present and voting in both the houses of the Parliament. Then only they can be removed. When they can be removed? They can be removed only when they don't discharge the constitutional obligation, or if there is any proved misbehavior. So in these 2 conditions, they can be removed from their office. So the Central Election Commission consists of Chief Election Commissioner and 2 other members. All these members are commissioner and members are appointed by the President of India for a fixed term, that is 6 years. Okay, they can resign or they can be removed if there is proved misbehavior or incapacity to discharge their constitutional duties. Now let's move on to the National Voters Day. National Voters Day, the Election Commission of India came into existence on 25th of January 1950. That means just 1 day before the implementation of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so on 25th of January 1950, to mark the foundation day of the Election Commission of India, we celebrate National Voters Day. Okay, so National Voters Day is also celebrated to encourage and to enroll the new young voters into the electoral list. So that's why we celebrate National Voters Day, okay, every time. Okay, remember this, January 25th every year will be celebrated as the National Voters Day. So we take pledge, okay, regarding the voting process. So as adult citizens get the right to vote, they are encouraged to enroll themselves in the electoral process. Talk about the powers and functions of the Election Commission. The Election Commission of India exercises vast powers and functions. So in that, firstly, it recognizes the political parties and classifies them into national, regional and sub-regional, and allots symbols to those, okay, parties. So each and every political party have to be registered with the Election Commission. So Election Commission will recognize those parties and classify them into whether it is a national party, regional party or sub-regional party will be decided by the Election Commission itself. And it is the Election Commission which will allot the symbols to the political party. So each and every political party will have a symbol on which they contest the elections. So therefore, the Election Commission will allot required symbols to the political party. Okay. Secondly, it prepares the electoral rolls. Electoral rolls will be prepared by the Election Commission itself. Those who attain the age of 18 years will be given the right to vote, as we mentioned even before also. And addition and deletion of the electoral rolls will also be made by the Election Commission. So Election Commission can delete or it can add members to the electoral list. Okay. Then thirdly, we can say Election Commission issues, okay, model code of conduct which each and every political party has to respect and follow those model code of conduct. So every time whenever elections happen, all the political parties are expected to follow certain model code of conduct. That means, okay, there are certain rules and regulations each and every political party have to respect and follow those. Okay, suppose taking rallies, arranging meetings, mics, okay, election expenditure, all these will have certain limitations. Okay, all these will come under the model code of conduct, MCC. Fourthly, the election commission will announce proper dates to conduct general elections as well as by-elections. So it is the election commission which will announce or issue the notification to conduct the elections. Either it might be parliament or assembly, or okay, it may be related to general or by-elections. Okay, general elections comes for every 5 years. By-elections are those whenever a person resigns or due to death. Okay, in between, whenever the election comes in between, those are called by-elections. Fifthly, the election commission will establish a proper electoral machinery to conduct the elections. So for this, they will take the support of the various departments. So election commission depends upon the various departments for its needs. It will take the staff from various departments and it will conduct the elections. Sixthly, it will control the rigging and violence which takes place during the polling time. So rigging, wherever rigging takes place or violence takes place, it is the duty of the election commission to prevent them. So that's why it might cancel or it might stop the election process. So whenever this rigging or violence takes place, it can stop or cancel the polling on that day. Seventhly, we can say it can advise the governor of the respective states and the President of India to disqualify a legislator. So if a legislator needs to be disqualified, at that point of time, it can advise the President of India as well as the governors of the respective states. Eighthly, it conducts elections for Lok Sabha, okay, and the state legislative assemblies. And it also conducts the elections, okay, for legislative council as well as Rajya Sabha. And finally, we need to mention the elections are also conducted for the office of president and also the vice president of India. Okay. So all these elections will be conducted by the election commission itself. Ninthly, it appoints various polling personnel or officers while the polling is taking place. For example, you take returning officers, assistant returning officers, then observers, expenditure observers. Okay, all these staff will be appointed by the polling to conduct the polling. All these officers will be appointed by the election commission. It also takes the support of the police and security forces for the smooth conduct of the elections. Okay, we need police to maintain law and order. So that's why the police and security support also will be taken. And finally, we need to talk about the election commission also appoints various tribunals to deal with the various poll issues, and it also acts as a court in dealing with in solving the various problems which are related to the voting and polling and recognizing and allotting the symbols of various political parties. Okay, now let's talk about the various elections that were conducted in India. So right from 1951, our election commission was successful in conducting the elections. So the first election was taken place in the year 1951, and thereafter in 2019 we have conducted elections to constitute 17th Lok Sabha. So as a process, here we are using electronic voting machines. Okay, electronic voting machines are used, okay, to record the votes of the people. So first this was introduced in the year 1999 for 45 constituencies. Right from 2004, we are implementing these EVM machines in a full-fledged manner. Now let's talk about EVMs, okay, and VVPATs. EVM stands for the electronic voting machine. So electronic voting machines, as I just told you, was introduced in India in the election system in 1999. Since then we are using. So these electronic voting machines have replaced the ballot paper. Instead of ballot paper, we are using EVMs. EVMs can record the votes of 64 contestants at a time. So it can record votes belonging to 64 contestants at the same time. Okay. So this was prepared by ECIL and BHEL. These are the two companies who have prepared the voting machines in India. As per the directions of the Supreme Court of India, the nota option was also introduced. Nota means if we don't like the contestants who are contesting in the election, we can always go for nota. Okay. So if nota gets more votes, then the polling can be cancelled. Then again the elections will take place. So that's why nota button is also placed with the EVM. And not only that, VVPAT. In 2019 elections, we have seen VVPAT, voter verifiable paper audit trail. So that means whenever a citizen goes to vote, he can verify that to which party he is voting. So that will be reflecting for a period of 7 seconds. So he can see that 7 seconds for which party he has voted, whether it is right or wrong. Okay, after 7 seconds, that paper will go into the box which is fixed and automatically locked. Okay, so this is VVPAT system also got introduced in. Now let's talk about electronic photo identity card, that is EPIC. So in 1993 in India, we have introduced something called voter ID card. So voter ID card consists of the details of each and every individual. Okay, each and every individual will be issued a card in which his personal details will be recorded. More importantly, his photo will be there on that particular card. Okay, so in 1993, during the time of TN Session, he has introduced this electronic photo identity card to remove the bogus votes, to remove the duplicate votes in the system. He has introduced this electronic photo identity card. Since then, we are using the electronic photo identity card, and by this effort, there are many votes which have been duplicate votes have been removed by the Election Commission. Okay, so we can contain some kind of duplication as far as elections are concerned. So that's why we brought this electronic photo identity card for the benefit of the citizens. Okay, so this is about the powers and functions of the Election Commission. This question is very important. Normally, this comes for 10 marks, powers and functions of Election Commission. And we can also expect in 5 marks about Central Election Commission and National Voters Day, electronic voting, election voter ID cards. This can also be asked in the questions. So all have to concentrate on these questions. Okay, thank you.